Hey kids, I don't care if you're sick of soup, it's all we have at home, and I'm not going to the grocery store for a couple days. We just don't need it yet. This time I'm jamming Chimera. One of my biggest issues with the Chimera deck core was a general weakness to interruptions and relative inconsistency. Unless you saw Mirror Knight and your opponent didn't have Ash, you were having a rough time. This build aims to fix that by adding 12 more functional copies of Mirror Knight and making Barone before committing to Mirror Knight and using the super heavy cards to clear the path for Chimera's illusion cards to OTK against established boards or win through sheer advantage in a grind game. I'm on the most expansive super heavy engine I thought was justifiable, including the Synchro 12 as a fringe option to make after using Wakaushi's monster effect you'll probably never use in your life, as well as Stealthy to steal any imperms or droplets that our opponent fires off during our setup, and give us a free special onto an empty board and engine. I'm also on 2 Benkei because I fear God, and it does come up in grind games, honestly. For our first game, we'll be going up against what I imagine is Gran Maju. It's your 14 card extra deck. Could you not find Rue? Did you not think that the third Untis was enough? Was 3 just too many? I don't even know. Yeah, it's Gran Maju, complete with all the hallmarks of Gran Maju's deck building. 57 cards. Just all the cards that say banish face down. Anyways, they're going first. They're going to activate Pot of Desires, banishing 10. That's going to draw them into a Gran Maju and a Thunderbird. They're going to special summon the Eater of Millions and then pitch a Hextrude for Thunderbird. They're going to Ledger of Legendman and then Jackalope pitching the Dimensional Fissure. I guess they want to save the Gran Maju for next turn, but they're not getting one. We're going to start with Wakaushi, then activate Wakaushi. Wakaushi's going to scale Benkei and summon itself. We're going to activate Benkei. Benkei is going to grab Soul Piercer. We're going to normal Soul Piercer, make Scarecrow, trigger Soul Piercer. That's going to get us to Bike. We're going to pitch Bike. Bike is going to grab us Scales. We're going to pitch Scales to summon Scales with Scarecrow. Scales is going to summon back Soul Piercer. We're going to go ahead and synchro the Ass Dragon, trigger the Soul Piercer, the Stardust Dragon, and the Wakaushi. We're going to summon back the Motorbike, add Soul Peacemaker, and then scale. And we're going to make Barone. We're going to go ahead and give Scarecrow Soul Piercer after popping the Eater of Millions. Make Draco Berserker using the monster that we summoned off Soul Piercer. We're going to Pendulum Summon Wakaushi, Mirror Swordsman, Gazelle, and Wagon. We're going to add Chimera Fusion and then Soul Guy Booster. We're going to make Brave Masuro Wo. Then tribute off the Mirror Swordsman for Baphomet. We're now Fusion locked. We're going to activate Chimera Fusion, fusing into Chimera. We're going to activate all of our effects in sequence. That's going to hand loop during the end phase, summon the Mirror Swordsman, and add the Coatl. We're going to add back Chimera Fusion, and then activate it again, summoning Chimera the Illusion Beast, and go to battle. We'll punch the Thunderbird for 300, then punch the Jackalope for 26. Both of them are at 0. Berserker's going to punch in over the Thunderbird and get up to 58, and then get in for well over lethal. I'll be real, I don't even know what I'm up against here. I think it's some kind of like 60 card Labyrinth pile, but I don't know why there's Lair of Darkness. I don't know why there's Labyrinth, but it is what it is. They're going first. They're going to activate Lair of Darkness, set 3, normal summon back, Jack, and pass. The mandatory effect activates of Lair of Darkness just in time for us to draw this Ghost over on top. We're going to scale Wakaushi and activate the effect to special. They're going to Ghastly Glitch. We'll Ash that. We're going to scale Benkei and special the Wakaushi, which is going to prompt a Dogmatika punishment to pop it, sending Guru to draw. We're going to normal Soul Peacemaker, then make Scarecrow. Then we're going to discard Gazelle to summon back Soul Peacemaker. Soul Peacemaker is going to equip itself to Scarecrow and tribute itself off for Wagon. That's going to allow us to search a copy of Soul Piercer, which we'll equip to Wagon, and then we'll activate the Wagon to switch itself to attack and add Soul Guy Booster, which we will equip to the Wagon. We're going to special summon that, and then overlay for Tornado Dragon, triggering the Wagon to search, and we'll respond to that with Tornado Dragon to pop the EV. We're going to search for and then scale Wakaushi, which allows us to Pendulum Summon 2. Gazelle is going to grab a Baphomet, and then Wakaushi is going to discard said Baphomet for Super Heavy Samurai Scales. We're now Super Heavy locked. We're going to make Soul Piercer and then synchro to Masuro Wo, which allows us to also search Super Heavy Samurai Stealthy. They're popping the Backjack because it's going to allow them to rearrange the top deck, and they're going to grab a Karma Cannon off the top. I'm going to respond to that with using Spy to set punishment, but our monsters will get booked during the end phase. They're going to lair, and I'm going to Ghost Stoker just to put them on nothing. They're going to top deck a Dimensional Barrier. They'll set the Barrier and Trap Trick. I am going to go to main and set flip Brave Masuro Wo, and then activate Tornado Dragon. They're going to chain Barrier, calling Synchro, and then Trap Trick, which is very annoying, by the way, this D-Barrier call Synchro, because it means that I don't get to draw 3 off this Masuro Wo, but it is what it is. We're going to flip summon the Gazelle and then pendulum, or search for the Soul Piercer, then pendulum summon the Soul Piercer and the Baphomet, as well as the Wakaushi. We're going to activate Baphomet, and our opponent's going to concede. Alright, for our next game, we'll be going up against Machina. Looks like they're on a 14 card extra for some reason. I think there's supposed to be a third Goliath here, but I don't know. It's definitely some flavor of Earth Machine. Anyway, we are going first, but we have drawn superbly crusty. We're going to scale Benkei and then normal Soul Gaia Booster, which allows us to search Soul Piercer, which will Soul Gaia Booster, which links off into Scarecrow. We're going to search Bike with the Soul Piercer, which allows us to add Wakaushi. We'll scale the Wakaushi and then pendulum summon the Gazelle. Gazelle is going to add Baphomet. We're going to activate Chimera Fusion, which allows us to make Chimera the Fanda Beast King. We'll go ahead and hand loop during the end phase and add Kernfield Coatl, which allows us to grab Mirror's Swordsman, and we'll add back the Chimera Fusion for later. In the end phase, they'll lose Machina Redeployment. They're going to fire off Urgent Schedule, and we'll ash that. Then they're going to activate Machina Redeployment, pitching this Imperm, and I'll fire Chimera Fusion for Illusion Magical Beast. They're going to add Inklasper, and like a fool, I summon back Baphomet, chain blocking their Inklasper for them, but honestly, I probably wasn't going to negate with the Swordsman anyways. They're going to normal Gear Frame and add a Citadel, then pitch it with Vertical for the Thawing Mountains. Then they'll overlay for Gear Gigant, and I'll negate that one. They're going to Droplet to put Chimera under Citadel, which allows them to clear the field, and Gear Gigant is going to attack and be turned into a Zeus. This Bike is going to be absolutely huge. First, we'll add back Chimera Fusion to clear our grave of spells. Then we'll add Scales with Bike and Pendulum Summon it. That's going to allow us to get Soul Piercer, and that does threaten an Xyz, so they'll activate Zeus. We'll search for a copy of Wakaushi, then scale it and activate its effect, scaling the second Benkei and special summoning itself. We'll add Soul Piercer and then normal the Gazelle. We'll attach Soul Piercer to Ass Dragon and then to Waka and then Synchro into Ass Dragon rather. We'll add Stealthy here, special to Barone. Barone's going to pop these Zeus, then we're going to activate Stealthy to take this Forbidden Droplet. We'll go to battle and punch him with the Barone for 3,000, and that's the turn. They're going to rip a Heavy forward, which I know is safe to negate, and they're going to pass there. During the standby phase, we're going to have Barone tag out for Stealthy again, and then Stealthy's going to fire to take the Imperm this time. I probably should have taken Ass Dragon, but it's fine. I'm going to Pendulum Summon Waka and Baphomet. Baphomet's going to add Gazelle, then we're going to Chimera Fusion for Chimera, Reborn the Chimera, and add a bunch of cards. We're going to Reborn the Chimera, add the Coatl, and loop during the end phase, but really that's just chain blocking. We're going to search with Benkei and then just, I don't know, I think we Pendulum Summoned it. I don't care. We've got game. Doesn't matter. And now for our last game, we'll be going up against Dogmatika Hungry Burger deck. I think it's pronounced like Novell, but I am not really going to try that hard. Yeah, it looks like they're playing the Dogmatika ritual stuff. Anyways, I have no fucking clue what these cards do, so this was my first time playing against them. They're going to go Terraforming to add the field spell, then add the ritual spell for the Beast Warrior. I guess that lets them draw a card. Anyways, we're going to normal Soul Piercer, link off into Scarecrow. Scarecrow gets us to Waka. I have read to the extent where I know what this does and what triggers it, but I don't really know what it's going to do. So we're going to Scarecrow for scale summon back Soul Piercer, then scale Wakaushi. Wakaushi is going to set Benkei and then summon itself. Benkei here is going to be grabbing Soul Piercer, and here I try to bait out the Beast Warrior by targeting Scarecrow with Soul Piercer, and they do take the bait. They'll be removing the Scarecrow and summoning this Warrior, but then I noticed that this card has the same effect, so I'm just going to go ahead and make Draco Berserker, so that way I'll be able to banish it if it tries to do anything funny. We'll make Bike, and then that gets us to Stealthy, which is a free special summon for Soul Piercer, for Soul Peacemaker to equip to. They're going to attempt to tribute it off, but nope. We're going to special summon Wagon from deck. Wagon's going to add Soul Gaia Booster, then we'll pitch Coatl for Swordsman. We're going to activate Soul Gaia Booster, and then make Tornado Dragon, just clearing the field spell. And now we're going to go ahead and Pendulum Summon 3. We're going to activate Gazelle. Gazelle grabs Chimera Fusion, then tribute off the Mirror Swordsman for Baphomet. Baphomet is going to add Chimera Fusion and Gazelle. We'll activate Chimera Fusion using the 2 on field, so that way we can actually make use of the Monster Reborn effect. And from here, We're going to add Quaddle. We're going to activate the second Chimera Fusion to make Chimera the Illusion Magical Beast, add the Chimera Fusion back to hand, and we have well over lethal. I'm honestly a little sad the Chimera cards won't come out until Dune, because this is one of the most fun super heavy builds I've played so far. I'll try to stick to TCG legal cards for my next few builds though. To be honest, the main reason why I'm doing so much experimentation with super heavy is that I want to play the engine in paper, but haven't settled on a list I actually really enjoy and feel comfortable playing yet.